So let's start. Okay. Shall I start now? Is everyone okay? Hello. Okay. If everyone are okay, then please just ping in the chat. Okay. Okay. Then we'll start. So today we will be going through Microsoft Power Platform. So I am just stressing on the Power Platform. It seems like in future Dynamic 365 is changing everything into Power Platform. So they are renaming the thing. How they are renamed the Microsoft Dynamic CRM to Dynamic 365. Then again they are going to transform this in future if they willing. Okay, there are some uh, I mean some news regarding that they are going to change into Power Platform. So let's start into that. So what's the Power Platform exactly? Power Platform is nothing but it's a combination of every app like Power Apps, Power BI, and Microsoft Flow, and the common data services and the Dynamic 365 application, Office 365 application, and standalone applications. Standalone in the sense every other individual applications. So if we talk about the Power Apps, actually what are the Power Apps? Power Apps is nothing but it's a app designer and a customization center, like anything we want to modify, any changes in the inbuilt features of that Microsoft technology, then we are going to use the Power Apps. Power Apps is a separate platform. Okay, now it's a separate platform, but in future it's everything will be integrated into the Power Apps, like forms, like we do have a customization when we click on the customization. So this is I'm just giving the overview, you who already know. Like when we open a customization, there you can see a separate tab is opened. Then in that you can find a lot of configurations. Okay, those things like the forms, entities, dashboards, web resources, assemblies, those all will come into Power Apps. Okay, and the Power BI. So Power BI is nothing but it's a visualization of data. Whatever the data we are using in this Power Apps, we are just visualization in terms of Excel sheets or in terms of tables, any diagrammatic or pictorial graph, anything. Those are come under Power BI and Microsoft Flow. This is a old diagram. Actually, this name is renamed as Power Automates. Okay, so in future, right now, still they are not change it, but they are going to change the name of Microsoft Flow as a Power Automates. Power Automates is nothing but whatever the logic we are doing, so we are doing with the manual input on something. If we are giving input, then those logic will trigger and perform whatever the automation we want to do, it is doing that. But the Power Automates, what it will do, it's like without the intervening of the manual input from our side, like a end user, it will trigger itself. Like when the customer inputs any data, like if a external form is there, when I just fill that form and submit, it will just get whatever the data he has filled, it will get into the CRM. Okay, then it will processed in the database, and from the database it will again give a response back to the user, like customer. Then he know that okay, my data has been captured in the particular databases, and he will get some acknowledgement or whatever it may be. And on that basis, and if further steps are there, like we are creating a lead, then automating it to opportunity, then giving the products to the customer. If he likes, then we are quoting, then creating an order, like that everything will go in a automate flow, that is called a power automates. Okay, so this is the structure. And this all things whatever I explained, like Power Apps, Power BI, Microsoft Flow, and D365, Office 365, and any other apps, they are on top of a common data services layers. This is the like a layer, in the sense it's a base. Okay, the structure of a base, what this all things are standing on that. Okay, everything is controlled by the common data services. That's the main logic here. So if we go further, so actually what we can create with the Power Apps. So we have discussed that we can do anything with the Power Apps. We can create an application, or we can manipulate the data, or we can like automate the data, whatever we want to do. But in terms of what, like you can see here Canvas apps and the model driven apps. Canvas apps are nothing but where we are creating an application in the view of mobile phones and the tablets, like a small screen sectors, where we want to on the flow, if we want to uh, get in touch of the data or anything else, then we are creating a separate application for those small screens. Okay, this is only for the user experience, like it will be easy for the user, they can enter on the go, like that. And it's very easy for the task and role based apps. Okay, and we can connect with this app overall with 200 sources, in the sense it's like we can get the data from the Twitter, Facebook, and any other social media, whatever the social media is there, we can get the inputs from that social media, or any other platform like websites. A company has a website, then he create a form, then if a user want to enter any data, then it can capture and it sends to that. So like that 200 sources are there, 200 plus, and more they are working on that to add into that sources. Okay, this is Power Apps in terms of Canvas apps. Okay, so next we go to model driven apps. Model driven apps are like where we can use the application in a real time, like sales, if a salesman is there, Microsoft salesperson is there in front, okay, who is interacting with the customer. So he always obviously use this model driven apps to fill the data of any customer who is interested, and those data will be manipulated further on their customer interests. Okay, this is the model driven apps. So everything we mostly work on the model driven apps. So I mean further I will just explain how exactly model driven apps are created. Okay, what are the things we can include. Okay, and later how we can this automates on or how we can interact with other integration services. Okay, external integration services. So like that I will explain further. So like if you have any question, just raise your voice. Okay, right now I'm not able to see the chat board. And that's not only Power Apps. Okay, Power Apps are extending day by day, they are just creating a new things and adding into the Power Apps. And because of it's a competitive world, so many competitive businesses are there, like I already explained in the last week about the Salesforce, how the Salesforce was there. It's a number one in the business application, but Microsoft giving Salesforce a big competition, and it's crossing it. Okay, with the what are the technology they are using, and in terms of in all the technology area. Okay, so if we move to extended Power Apps, we can see Power Apps portals. This is a newly added feature in the Power App sector. Actually, it added 4 years ago. Okay, it's an old one. Previously, it called as a ADX portals. Okay, it was invented in some Netherlands area, but later Microsoft has hired it, and it owned right now. So that's why they convert this thing into Power Apps portals. And what the Power App portals are, that anything like if we take an example, we have faced some issue, okay, with the product, then we call one of the customer care. Then we whatever the issues that will raise with the customer care, support executive. Then we will register a complaint. It will happen like we need to call manually. But what here is happening is that we need not to call. Customer have a choice here. Power portals are that we are integrating some services like complaint services. Like customer can sign in with the credentials which are provided at the time of buying any product of that company. Okay, then he logged in, and he will see all his product details. He can just go into that whatever the product he was facing issue, and then he can register complaint, so that a field service complaint will register. Like cases are there in what Microsoft D365 application. We do have a cases in service management, so it will trigger in the case. Then the case will trigger the field service. So on that basis, it will interact with each other. So in that kind, not only it is useful in terms of I mean customer interaction, it can be useful in terms of inbuilt company employees also, like a custom portals they can create. There are customer self-service portals are there, custom portals are there, and employee portals are there. Like that, so many features they are including. Custom portal, we can do anything with the custom portals. And what is the advantage of this creating a Power Up portals are like if you want to expose the same data with the Microsoft application, like he want to create a Microsoft application totally, and he want to give every customer, that makes a lot of cost to the company. So like every time he can't buy a license from the Microsoft, and that license is shared with the customer. That's why Power Up portals are there. It's an inbuilt feature of the Microsoft Dynamic 365. So he can create number of users. Like it's just a contact. Okay, just a contact user will have a access to the Power Up portal, not the CRM user. Here's somewhat differences there. CRM user is a different one, and the Power Up portal user is a different one. He's just a customer. He's a user, sales user, like that. So, and next we go to the common data services. I already said that the common data services are the base to the Microsoft D365 application. And if entire Microsoft application technology, it is a, base structure. Everything is built on that structure. Okay. What is happening in the common data services? Okay. As you can, in the name itself is that data. Okay, data is nothing but whatever the customer giving the data to the company. So company definitely want to store somewhere else. So that's why they are using common data services. It's like a database. We already know that some databases are there, MySQL, Oracle, like that. Like that, common data service is the inbuilt feature of the D365 application. It will store the data in standard and custom entities with rich metadata. Like everything, it will understand with the application. What are the application are integrated into the Power Apps. Okay, and whatever the validations are there, because it is an integrated part of the Power Apps. It can understand everything. It can it will obey everything. Like if we take an external databases like SQL, we need to customly we need to write a script that every time if we create a record, then it will store in that particular table. Okay, like that we need to create a custom things, but here we need not to write any custom things. That's the biggest advantage of having common data services. That's why everyone are migrating from on-premise futures to cloud futures like common data services. uh, Maybe I haven't explained you regarding previously we are supposed to have a on-premises Microsoft Dynamic 365 and online Microsoft Dynamic 365. On-premise is nothing but, as I already said, whoever not using the database, cloud database, they are having their own database, like own infrastructure. They will have a SQL database, a Windows server, like that. Everything they will build on the physical structure. It will be there, but here it's a virtual one. Okay, this just a difference over there. And why CDS? And you can take it's is it sometimes a company will get it. Is it safe? I mean, securely it is possible that it will protect our data. Hmm? So those questions will raise. But Microsoft given every commitment that your data is we are responsible of your every data, anything what you are inputting in the common data services. Like these are the things we are just manipulating in the common data services, like standard entities and extending the custom entities, and calculated fields and roller fields and other normal fields, and the validations, importing, exporting, synchronizing, security models, everything. We will discuss everything, all the topics in individual also. And okay, this is the past and the present structure of Power Platform. As you can see, is that customized Dynamic 365 applications are here, and we do have a standard on Canvas applications here, and the Power Apps and the Studio things and common data services, and everything are individually just separated. Right now, it is happening like that only. But Microsoft, there are some issues like every time we need to coordinate with these things, there's some integration issues were raising. Okay, to avoid those things, they have built a structure like that. They are just covering everything under the Power Apps itself. Okay, you can see here in the previous structure you can see everything is separated, but here they are included into the Power Apps. That's why they are going to change the future name of Microsoft Dynamic 365 into Power Apps. And apps model designer, form designer, view designer, these are all the individual things where we develop on the basis of the requirements from the clients. Okay, you can see Dynamic 365 application, Customer Office 365, and some other model driven apps as I have explained previously, and Canvas apps, ISV apps. ISV apps is nothing but individual service vendors. Like some, I already said that some companies will have their own websites. They want to integrate into the Microsoft D365 structure. So that facilities also Microsoft is providing to the customer. Okay, and how the Power Apps are interacting in the real world. As you can see, as a developer can easily extend capabilities for our users and take advantage of these platform services with the full power of Azure. As you have listened, Azure is a latest technology in Microsoft sector. So what the Azure is like, it's a cloud platform where we can create anything in the virtual, like in a physical world what we are doing we can create in the virtual world. And we can manipulate that everything, what are the logic or any automations of doing everything, like storing the databases, and like scaling any application, like that everything we can do with the Azure. This is the best feature which are integrating with the Azure of Microsoft D365, where any other, I mean, other than Microsoft Dynamic 365, we don't have this facility in any other competitive businesses like Salesforce or any other competitive applications. So here you can see how the structure is, I mean, interacting with each other, like Power Apps, Microsoft Flows, Power BI, and these are the Azure AI applications. This is a base structure. I'll explain individually in the further. And this is the structure of how the Azure is interacting. It you can see that the clients, they're inputting either from the mobile or the tab on the laptop, any platform. Okay, it's a cross domain platform, like from you can give a request from the iOS or Android or the Windows, that doesn't matter, but it will trigger whatever the logic is there. And the Power Apps, and here we are having the connectors. These connectors are the integrations. Okay, we are integrating anything into the Azure structure. We do have some API services like that. Later we will try to understand what is happening in the background with the Azure and the Power Apps. Okay, and the Power Automation. Okay, I already explained like Power Automation, what is happening. Power automation is nothing but so we take a basic example over here. This is a basic example of a payroll group. Like a company is having some payroll structure which is given to a third party services, or they have inbuiltly created a separate team for that automation structure of payroll group. They don't want to involve anyone into the payroll structure. Hmm? Okay, because of giving a proper satisfaction to the employees, like that. If at the time of generating the salaries, so who is the initiator is there, like a requester, he is requesting uh, data. He's sending those data, like inputting those data into the Power Automation. This is the Power Automation symbol, or Microsoft Flows, you can say. It trigger here. Whenever it triggers, it will check the validations. We provide some condition in that Microsoft Automation, like okay, is this employees having, I mean, number of days of working. If we have 22 days, 22 days are present or not, it will check like that. Okay, in 22 days, is he I mean, what are the duration of the day he's working, exactly 8 hours he is working or not, any mismatches are there, like that condition we will put. So everything, if validations are clear, then it will go to the delivery manager, where he just give like he will get an email. Okay, he approves the email there. He don't want to check anything else, because of everything is automated here. Everything it checks, then it will mail him. Otherwise it will reject and it will hand to the requester, whichever the data, like whichever the employee's data is not validated, it will return to the requester. Otherwise it will move to the delivery manager. In the same manner, if he approves, then it will move to in some other department. Okay, then they will approve, like that. It's everything, it's automating here with the condition itself. No one are doing anything manually. So this type of things we can do with this application. And coming to the part of the customization and app designing, so here we start like something technically. We need to understand what these are things, because we can say here these are some basic 4 to 5 6 like blocks are there. We are going to work on these blocks only. Okay, what are the, I mean, schema or user interface analytics or processor code or templates and security. These are the things we are going to work on as a developer in the back end. Okay, we need to know everything, what they are, what they are doing, their work. Okay, if we understand every, I mean, basic knowledge of these things, then no one will just stop us. Okay, and if we uh, in the first block we do have a schema. Schema, in the sense, it's like some object. We do have entities, attributes, relationships, global option sets. Entities are nothing but it's a I mean it's a set of some what I say, a process of objects, or like fields, or anything in a set of some individual objects, I can say. We do have some tabs, sections, and forms, and subgrids. Like so many things are there in an entity. Entity is based on the form itself. I will explain in the later. I will also show what the things are going in. I'll create some forms or entities and attributes like that. An attribute is nothing but it's an individual attribute where a data is stored individually. Okay, we can have a number of n number of attributes in an entity. Okay, and the relationships are nothing but if we have a like a entity, if we take an example, uh, um, in the sense of from one person to one person, like a father and the son, how the relationships will manipulate in the same manner. Entities relationships also occur. If I can say that a father and children, 1 is to n relationship is there. One father will have number of children. Okay, but in legally, I am going into the legally, and one that particular child will have only one father, 1 is to 1. Okay, in that sense, like a relationship will create like this. We do have like a n is to 1 relation, or in the sense like 1 is to n relation. And in the terms of n is to n relations, n is to n in the sense it's like a like grandfather and mother is there. A grandfather mother is having some eight set of children. In eight set of children, they do have a two individual sets of their childrens. Like that, a relationship create within themselves. That is called the entity relationships. I will explain deeply. If I show practically, you can understand. And the global option set. Global option set is nothing but we have filled a lot of forms in during our btech or inter any things. Okay, when you're filling something, if we are selecting any state. Okay, if we select a district, I have selected Hyderabad as a district. Okay, in the next stage, a drop down will occur like a state. All the state names will display there, like Andhra Pradesh or Gujarat or some other, Mumbai or something. Like every state will display there. That is called a global option set. Okay, it's set of a drop down list or a pick list, we can say it. And user interface application ribbon is nothing but here ribbon workbench, where we have an application. We can create a button, custom buttons in the on the form, on the subgrid, or on the dashboard. In these are the three structure we do have option that we can create our custom buttons and apply our custom actions on that. Okay, on clicking that buttons, we do perform some actions. So on that basis, this is the future of applying a custom buttons. And the sitemap is nothing but we do have a dashboards. In the dashboard, we do have some areas, groups, sub areas, and I will show those things also. And forms, I already shown that every entity will have a one form or number of forms. Forms are different types are there. One form is like main form, main card form, and quick create form, quick view form. These are the four types of forms are there in customizations. And entity ribbons, these are the currently this has been deprecated, so we are not using anywhere in entity ribbons, so we need not to know that. And web resources are nothing but where we perform a real custom scripts. Okay, any type of script, like a JavaScript, or we can perform any HTML based script, or we can have images also. There are some set of 9 to 10 things are there where we are using with the web resources. I'll show those things also. And analytics dashboards. Okay, dashboards are, I already okay, further I will explain in the next slides. Dashboards are nothing but where we are displaying a data of a number of customers, or whoever the buyers are there, in a pictorial graph, or in a visualization, like in the form of subgrids, or drop down menus. In those or in the times, in the terms of tables also, we will show in a D365 application. And the reports, we can generate whatever the data we are displaying on the dashboards, we can generate them as a tables or any graph manner also. And also mention visualization already explained that we are visualizing data on the dashboard. That's it. And the process, here the process we come, we do have a dialects workflows and two other things also there, like a business process flows are there. And one more thing, flows maybe, in the later part I will explain that those things. So process are nothing but, I already explained that Power Automate. So what the Power Automate is doing, like a Power Automate can do anything with which can externally also automate the process. Like we do have a application like TFS, Team Foundation Server. Okay, and I do have a Power Automate here. So I want to create n number of tasks for some set of employees. I need not to manually create those things. I want to create like on click of a one run. I want to create n number of tasks for those employees, and which can automatically assign to that particular employee. So those type of things we can do in the Power Automation. But here workflows will work like, in the application itself we can manipulate the data or automate the data in any manner within the out of the box features itself. Like within the application we can do these things. And the business process flow is nothing but a set of stages combined, and it completes a cycle. Okay, like I have a business process flow, like in the first stage I want to like uh, process the data. In the next stage I want to qualify the data. And then in the start and the next stage I want to develop the, process in the next move into the next stage. And in the next stage I want to close it by verifying all the things. Like that number of stages will be there to easily we can interact with the customer data. And the plugins, this is the, the extended D365 features. Plugins where we customize the things if it not possible with the out of the box features. Like if it not possible with the workflows and the business rules or any other out of the box features, then we go into further, like plugins. Plugins we mostly use only C sharp as a programming language. So this is the main best thing that we should learn the C language, and we need to know the basics of C language. And also I have created some materials also, I'll share them. And in every plugin we do have some assemblies. In We do have a one assembly itself, but we do have a number of steps for that particular assembly. Okay, those are the processing steps are like, we can create, we can update, we can delete, we can retrieve, we can retrieve multiple. These are the messages. So these messages are in the steps itself. And I will show that plugins are registered with the plugin registration tool. I will also, I will show that how we can download the SDK packages. Okay, and the templates. These all other things are like this is extra items like email merging, mail merge, email contract, article. Okay, and the security roles. Security roles are nothing but, so for every upload, So okay, for every application we do have some security. We want some security. Like we don't want to give access to the anonymous. Like simply we can't give an access. Like if someone are coming a new one, then simply we can't give access. Okay, he will have a username and a password, but we can't provide him without knowing what he is and his role in that particular employee. Okay, in that basis we introduce security roles or the privileges. Okay, according to his role and according to his stage, we provide his some of the roles or privileges. Like you have a system administrator where you have full access of anything you want to do in the application, you can do it with the system administrator role. Or the system customizer, like some part of the securities like a permission we don't have in the system customizer in. And like that we can create a custom things also, like a custom roles. I want to give access only a sales model related process to that particular employee. So other than that don't want to, I mean, display anything to that particular employee. Like that we can create roles. And a field level security. Field level security in the sense it's like I already told that attributes are nothing but fields. Every individual field will store some data. So I want to show I have some entity form. In that entity some form, some number of attributes of fields are there. Okay, I want to show that if a salesperson will see that particular form, then he can see that attribute or the field, and he can fill the data. But when it comes to the, if a person having like a salesperson is having a case related security role, he's only working on the cases, like a complaint, taking complaints on from the customer, he's having that role. Then when he comes to the sales entity form, I'm giving a role, I mean I'm giving some privileges to him, like he don't want to edit that thing. And I don't want to show some fields to that particular person. Like that we are creating field level security. So this is a solution layering. So before doing any customizations, we should know one thing here, like managed solutions and unmanaged solutions. Okay, and we do have some other solutions also, like a system solutions. Okay, and unmanaged customizations. Okay, mostly unmanaged customizations is nothing but unmanaged solutions itself. And the system solutions are like some, when we are creating any dynamic trial instance, you can see that you can find some inbuilt entities itself, like account, lead, contact, and dashboards. Some inbuilt features are, these are the system solution things. We can't edit or we can't change directly on the system default solutions. Like if you want to change them, you can just create a solution with whatever the your choice of publisher. Okay, then you can redeploy into the solution whatever the, I mean, components you want to, I mean, change or modify, you can redeploy in your solution, custom solution. Then you can start changing that, because it won't Microsoft won't allow you to change the system related things here. So this is the system related one. And if we move to managed solution, I already said that system solution directly we can't edit. Like managed, they are like managed solution itself. Managed solution is nothing but a set of components. We are just implementing or creating any application process and wrapping it completely so that no one can touch it or edit or do any manipulation on that thing. Like that we are creating. Before creating any managed solution, the solution will start with the unmanaged solution itself. Okay, unmanaged solution is like anything we are editing or developing, whatever we want, we are doing in the unmanaged solution. Later I have done my changes, everything I modified. I have created application, it's working fine in the D365. Then I want to wrap it like create a package. We sometimes we call it as a package also, or the patch. So many names, so many names are there. Then we create a package or a zip file, then redeploy that one in any other instances. Whatever the instance we want to deploy, then we can deploy there and use it. Like before deploying, we need to export that solution. So in the export process, we do have some choices like how do you want to export. It will ask two questions like unmanaged way or the managed way. If you want to unmanaged way, in the later when you deploy that solution into any other instance, then they can edit that thing because it's a unmanaged one. So they do have a right to edit that thing. If you don't want to give any edit rights, then you can export it as a managed solution. Then you can deploy it so that your changes, I mean, on your application, no one will have any right to change that one. So there are so many applications we do have those like managed solutions. So later we will use those applications also. And so after doing everything customization, this is our application behavior. These are the set of components we are adding into our custom solution and making an application. You can see yellow bar is there. Okay, so before doing any customization, we need to know some components, basic components, what those components, what the background of the component, how the working thing will happen in that component, and what is the use of the component. Like that, so many questions will arise. If we take a good data component in the sense, it's like where it directly interact with the data. Whatever the data we are just inputting, it will interact with that directly. Like a entity, I already said entity is nothing but a set of forms. Okay, a set of forms where we are creating some n number of fields in there so that we can manipulate the data. That is nothing but an entity. If we take in a description way, you can see that an atom with the properties that you track and such as contact or account and many standard entities are available. You can customize any non-system standard entity, okay, and create a custom entity from the scratch. Okay, I already said that we do have custom entities and the system entities. Like a system entity is nothing but contact, account, lead, opportunity. Like when we are creating any trial instance, inbuilt features will be there, like those entities. If you want to add some other extra entities, so that as per the business requirement, we want to change some modification in the existing application, so we can add a custom entities in there. Okay, this is the entity form, I mean entity definition. And the fields are nothing but, I already said, a set of fields are nothing but we can create an entity. And in the way, if you want to create a field, when we create a entity, we do have the forms. Okay, after creating the forms, or I mean before creating the forms or after creating the form, we do have a choice of creating the fields in that entity object. Entity object will have number of things like forms, views, fields, and relationships, business rules, dashboards. These are the things we do have. Okay, I will. So by practical, if I show, then you'll have a clear picture over there. Oh, yeah. Okay, these are the settings. Okay, in the present D365 uh, UCI view, UCI is nothing but Unified Client Interference. This is the view. Before we used to have a classic interference. Okay, classic interference we do have a choice of, I mean, scroll down button over here. But you can see here, like I already explained this thing. You can see a side menu is there here. So we are on the, sorry, we are on the settings, and I'm going into customizations and the customization system. This is a default solution. So this is a default solution. You can see here all this under the components, which are called as a components. Okay, and we do have some number of entities over here. These are the inbuilt entities. Okay, you can say the some n number of entities are there already. We have done, I mean, we have not created anything. These are the system entities, and you can see in, this is the entity. Okay, I have give explanation of entity. This is the entity where do have a set of objects. You can see forms, views, chats, fields, keys, and one is to n is to n is to n, and the messages, business rules, and the hierarchy dashboards. Okay, if you go into form, we do have some set of forms over here. We do have a card form, main form, quick create form, quick view form. Okay, and we can create the fields in the form by I mean, opening a main form, or we can create the forms, I mean, fields outside of the form here itself, and later we can just I mean, draw the fields from the side menu into the form. Okay, I will show those things also, and we'll complete the remaining part. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so those things are entities, fields, and relationship I already shown, and the option set. Option set already explained, uh, like a country is having a drop down menu where we can have a choice of choosing a set of uh, data, and these are the UI components. And why I differentiated, it's like you want to know which are the components we are using for the data, and which are the components we are using for the UI in the sense like unified interference. Okay, where we are just not interacting anything with the data. Okay, we are just viewing it and visualizing it, like a app or sitemap. In sitemap we do have a dashboards, visualizations. I already explained those things in the previous slides. And the forms, we are not doing anything on the I mean, with the form we are doing in the form. Okay, you can understand, I mean, just differentiate those things. And the view is nothing but where a set of attributes form a columns. Okay, those columns will display in a I mean, a set of records type. Like if you are introducing a column in the subgrid, and we want to display a fetch of related records, like I want to show n number of contacts for that particular account. When I have created the entity of account, okay, then a set of related entity records, like a contact is a related entity of account, I want to display in that subgrid. So I will fetch them and display here. That's the view we can justify over there. And the logic components, I already explained that how the logic components will work. Like a business process flow. Business process flow is nothing but a stages where we are dividing a set of action, dividing into multiple stages, so that uh, stage by stage we can manipulate the data. So that is called the business process flow. And the workflow, I already explained that within the D365 application, where it's a out of the box feature, where we can automate the data and actions. So actions are the, sorry, yeah, actions are the most important one, where we use them as a out of the box features, and as well as a extended D365 process also, like a customizations, custom plugins, where we are using custom workflow activities or code activities. So these are all these things we can manipulate with actions, where we have set of input arguments and we provide them as a output argument as a result. I will explain. Actions are somewhat like a difficult thing in the whole application of D365. Okay, and business rules. So in business rules, we do have some out of the box feature, where we can apply a logic in the manner like we can hide a field. Okay, we can lock the field. We can we can do some n number of a set of 6 to 7 types of things with the inbuilt feature in the application itself. I will show those things also. And the visual components, I already explained about the chart, dashboard, reports. Okay, in the sitemap we can use these things. Here we comes the privileges, and I also shared this PPT in the Google Classroom. I already shared the credentials to you. Okay, so here I created some links over here. If you have time, you when you click on that, it will move to the official Dynamic 365 documentation, where you can see and learn. Okay, I'll also explain those things, but when you have time, self learning is most important than giving some lecture. Okay, where we are. Okay. So yeah, this is the last time. Privileges, I already explained that when we don't have a sufficient privileges or permission, we cannot enter into the D365 application. Okay, whatever the permission we are giving, that user will have restriction beyond that permission. If I have an administrator role, then I can do anything. Like you can see, it has full permissions to customize the system and can view all data in the system. And the system customizer has full permissions to customize the system and can only view records for system entity that they create. Okay, this is the difference between system customizer and the administrator. Okay, only administrator will have the whole set of permissions. So other than the administrator, no one will have. If we want to create any custom roles also, we can give whatever our choice of permissions for that particular role. So this is the explanation in the terms of PPT. Then we move to some practical things. Do you guys need any break? Hello, hello. I can't hear anyone. Anyone speaking?